Okay, it's still thinking. It hasn't yet gone live. Okay. And we are live. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. My name is David Midgley. Alongside me is Ken the Legend Borland. And he won't put it on his Twitter handle, but certainly we will bring him into the game with his insight and viewpoints. Ken, good afternoon to you and welcome.
Good afternoon, David. Great to be here. And good afternoon to the listeners.
What do you make of today's game, Ken? There's serious confusion as to who was actually going to arrive on the day for Wales leading up to this encounter. They named their 23 and subsequently have made 3 somewhat late changes and sacrificed a significant amount of their caps. I mean, prior to the changes, there were meant to be 480 starting caps for the Welsh, but now today 234. Do you think it's a matter of playing a bit of precautionary measures by Warren Gatland ahead of this, ahead of the Rugby World Cup with these games?
So, I think it has definitely disrupted their preparations. I think they are genuine niggles, although Warren Gatland has said that all 3 players are expected to still be fit for the World Cup. Those 3 players being the wing Alex Cuthbert, the fly-off Dan Biggar, and the fullback Liam Williams, who take with them, around 250 caps out of the Welsh team, all out of the backline. And so the backline they're fielding today has only got 39 caps in total, and 17 of those belong to the scrum half Kieran Hardy. So it's a really raw Wales backline this afternoon.
Absolutely. This game blown by Andrew Brace, and we'll get into the squads in a moment, but blown by Andrew Brace. But Ken, he's not exactly fully Irish, is he? Because I believe his birthplace is in Wales. So should he really be blowing this game?
Yeah, I did see someone stirring the pot on social media. It might even have been you, Midgley, although it's a bit out of character. You're normally quite well behaved on social media. Honestly, Andrew Brace is a professional. He's warming up for the World Cup as well. I'm sure that he's just going to give his very best today. Try to be as neutral as possible. I just think maybe we focus on referees a bit too much. Leave that to the team who obviously do very important analysis on how Brace interprets things at the breakdown and in the rucks and the mauls and scrums and that sort of thing. But I've got no worries. Andrew Brace being born in Wales, that's fine. It might even work in a sort of reverse psychology way that he tries very hard to prove he's neutral and favours the Springboks.
Certainly. So 6 world ranking points places between these 2 sides. Wales in 10th, and the Springboks with an opportunity to go slightly higher than they are if they pick up some points this afternoon from this encounter. But I don't want Springbok fans to think this is a done and dusted game, because so many youngsters in this side, they'll be hungry, particularly with the Welsh squad being named on Monday for the World Cup. Do you think that it may just kind of spark something within the Welsh players to really play outside of their outside of the norm?
Yeah, I agree with you, David. I think everything I've heard is that most people think this is going to be an easy Springbok victory. But the big thing for me is playing at the Millennium Stadium. The Welsh team has massive support, especially in Cardiff. It really is a 16th man for them. So, as you say, these are going to be desperate players. Wales haven't yet named their World Cup squad. So they've got a lot to play for. And then really has been do well in the United Rugby Championship. And Wales, I think it was Zwandile Stick who used the phrase in the week that, they take you to dark places. That's where they like it. They like the rugby in the gutter, and they're very physical. They're happy to grind things out. I think the Springboks are going to have to be on top of their game to win today.
It's going to be an interesting one. I just want to, before we get into the squads, Ken, I just want to ask the question, and maybe it's something that's been asked online as well, and it's kind of a double-edged blade. Rugby World Cup warm-up games, everybody wants to be able to say we've got miles under the belt ahead of a major tournament because you don't want to come in undercooked. That being said, with France's Flyhoff and Tamak out last weekend as a result, Lucanio out for the Springboks, it's got to be a frustration for a coach because he wants to have guys kind of focused on their skills ahead of the World Cup, balance in the side, who's going to partner with who in key positions. But then at the same time, it must be so maddening when you see your players getting injured so close to a World Cup. And Intermax's injury wasn't a small one, was it?
Yeah, that's a massive blow for France to lose their fly half. Look, these warm-ups, I see them as a necessary evil. It's like insurance. None of us likes to fork out those premiums every month, but when the big crisis comes, we're very glad we've got insurance. And the coaches need to get their combinations going for the World Cup. Some of the coaches are probably still mulling the odd selection issue, but it's really about getting those combinations fit and firing. And, if you look at the Springboks, for instance, their first game is against Scotland, which is probably their most important game at the World Cup. So they can't ease their way into the tournament. They've got to beat Scotland in that first game. And then, it makes Big Island clash not necessarily a must-win match. Wales are playing Fiji first, which, is probably their big game in their pool. So, it's a huge frustration, of course, for the coaches but it's always been a part of rugby. They're always desperately unlucky players who miss out on the World Cup, having got injured a couple of weeks before. Part of the game.
Absolutely. And we want to thank all of you for following us on social media and on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video on YouTube as well as Facebook. We are absolutely privileged to bring you these games. admin@1wsr.com if you'd like to advertise with us, but don't forget to ding the bell so that you know when we go live. Next weekend at Twickenham, it's South Africa taking on their Southern Hemisphere partners in New Zealand. But Ken, let's quickly run through the squads as we see South Africa's talismanic captain is back in. If you don't mind, if you'd run through the Springboks for us.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's Jacques Nienaber said it's not necessarily the team he would play if it was a World Cup final tomorrow, but it's probably not too far away from it. It's a very exciting backline with Willie Leroux, Kane and Moody, and Cheslin Colby in the back three. Colby has moved to left wing. He's normally played on the right for the Springboks with Mapimpi on the left, but now they're just having a look at the hugely exciting Kane and Moody. The centre pairing, in the absence of Lucanio, Jesse Creel will be playing at number 13 alongside Damien Dialendi. They, of course, have played a lot of test matches together, so that's pretty much an established partnership there. A youthful and fairly inexperienced halfback duo in Mani Libok and Jaden Hendrickse, but two very exciting players, of course, and Hendrickse getting his first run of the test season following the passing away, the sad loss of his father. The Springbok pack is just an absolute powerhouse, a very strong loose trio of Jasper Wiese, Peter Steph du Toit, and of course Siya Kolisi, the captain, making what really is a miraculous return from knee surgery at the end of April, and great to see him starting a test match again. Agrius Snyman and Jean Klein are an interesting lock pairing, with a formidable front row of Frans Malherbe, Malcolm Marx and Stephen Kitsoff. On the bench, Springboks going with their traditional 6-2 split. Bongi Manambi, Oxenchair and Vincent Koch are the replacement front row. Franco Mostert is in the number 19 jersey, which suggests he will come on at lock. Marco van Staden and Dwayne Vermeulen, two loose forward substitutes. Grant Williams has recovered from his concussion against Argentina and is the replacement scrum half. And then Damien Willemse in the number 23 jersey.
Yeah, Wales, like we said, severely undercapped compared to the 664 starting caps for the Springboks. Corey Domachowski and Kieran Asirati, the two Cardiff props that made their debut against England 2 weeks ago, get a start once again. Elliot D continues in the number 2 jersey despite some challenges that Wales have had with their hookers. Ben Carter and Will Rowlands are your lock pairing for this afternoon. Experienced at flank with Dan Lydiot, but his partner on the other side, Jack Morgan, really enigmatic captain that he has become for Wales in the last couple of games. Aaron Wainwright is your number 8. Kieran Hardy and Sam Costello. Costello coming into the side after the omission of Dan Bigger that we spoke about at the top of the broadcast. Rio Dyer and Tom Rogers are your wings for today. Really inexperienced. Only managed 10 caps between them. Johnny Williams and Mason Grady with some centre pairing. These two as well, not even 5, well, barely 5 caps between them. So it's going to be an interesting afternoon. And a debut in Kai Evans, the Dragons fullback, getting a chance after being thrown onto the bench initially and then elevated into the starting lineup after the omission of Liam Williams. Sam Perry, Nicky Smith and Henry Thomas are your replacement front row. Henry Thomas playing in Montpellier, just 1 cap to his name. Teddy Williams is uncapped. He applies his trade for Cardiff Rugby. Tane Basham gets another go, as does Thomas Williams, who creeps up to that 50 cap mark with his 48th cap this afternoon. Max Llewellyn with his 2nd cap, and somebody who played in that Wales series last year against South Africa, in South Africa, and the Lions series prior to that, Louis Rees-Zammit. So good to see him back in after the shuffling that has been going on. The South African side, very, very experienced, Ken, and it's something that they'll certainly be counting on. But this is an opportunity for guys like Johnny Williams, whose first test in almost 2 years today, 2 years in the number 12 jersey, really an opportunity for him to shine in front of Warren Gatland. As we said, there's very, very good opportunities here for Wales players to stake their claim for a Rugby World Cup position. It is Mani Lobok who has ball in hand, who will be kicking left to right. Despite World Rugby's demands of opposing colours for colourblind customers, today they're in their traditional green and gold, and Wales are in their traditional red and white, which is the most colorblind frustration that you could ever have, red and green, because they're very similar when you suffer from color blindness. But anyway, nevertheless, you can always join us as the third commentator by commenting on YouTube or Facebook, and we get ourselves underway. Mani Lobok, high hanging kick just in front of the 22, in front of his 22-meter line. It's a lovely catch by Costello, getting hands on the ball. Let's see where Hardy goes. He goes to his forward pack in his hooker, Elliot D. Go to the far side of the park. Wales perhaps setting up now for a box kick at the back of the ruck. Just 30 seconds gone in this encounter. That's longer than I think Grant Williams played in that game against Argentina. Going up there did Willie Leroux, and Wales coming away with it. Flying through the hands. Rush defense from Jesse Creel forces Costello back in field. Good work there by Klein and Kitsoff. Into contact goes Jack Morgan. Really good games against England the last 2 weeks. He'd want to seriously continue that run of form ahead of Rugby World Cup in France. Taken into contact by the number 1, Corey Domachowski. Just a newbie in international rugby. Remember that a number of stars for South Africa not playing in this game, and we'll maybe just touch on those a little bit later. An inconsistent ball in the air there from Willie Leroux puts some space between him and Tom Rogers, who takes it in contact. Over the 10-meter line is where they find themselves. Hard work by Argees Neyman and Frans Mulherber. Towards us comes the ball. Support there for the Welsh man into contact by number 12, Johnny Williams, desperate to really get himself there. But it looks like a steal from the South Africans. Looked like it may have been knocked on there, but Hendrikse not seen there by the referee. Kicked away to the corner from Villaroo and absolutely smashed Cheslin Colby, and the referee's blown his whistle. As he said, that was a reckless challenge by Tom Rogers.
Wales, and interesting that when they did recycle the ball, they didn't just go to one-off runners close to the rucks. They did try and get a little bit of width on the ball. So a bright start by Wales, and it will be of concern for Box that we've had 2 box kicks, and both of them have not been fielded by Villaroo, being out-jumped.
Boy, oh boy, Cheslin Colby was taken out in the air. His feet hadn't even landed, and immediately
Colby taken in the air.
Tom Rogers is very lucky there that he didn't get a card, because to me, you take the man out in the air. Last week we did see it was a tackle in the air as well that resulted in a yellow card in our game, I believe it was. And looks like Cheslin Colby may be making his way off the park. I don't know, maybe he's just
Tom Rogers there. I think Cheslin Colby kind of jumped into Tom Rogers there. Certainly a penalty. But I do have a little bit of sympathy for Rogers. I think Cheslin Colby will be fine. I think he's taken a blow where no one wants to get hit.
Lebok clearing this away to the far side touchline, and it'll be just shy of the 22-meter line. Mani Lebok firing up his charges here. 2.5 minutes into this encounter. First throw for Malcolm Marx. Very good at ruck and tackle time, but he's going to have to find his jumper this afternoon rather. Finds John Klein. Back of the maul he goes, does Malcolm Marx. Always an opportunity for a maul try. 15 tries to his name, and how he would love to add number 16. Good momentum here by the Springboks. It's a strength for Springboks for a number of years. Hendrikse trying to steal it away out the back. He does go to Dialende, then to Lebok. Skip pass out to Villaroo. Some space for Kanan Moody. Is he going to find his way through a sea of red? He doesn't, and runs into Kai Evans. Hendrikse, near side of the park, 2 meters off the sideline. Lebok, skip pass, and nobody really sure who wants it. Arches Neyman into contact with support from Malherban Kitsov. Pick and go there from Peter Steph Detroit. Driven back ever so slightly, and nearly a maul forming there. Hendrikse goes to the far side in Dialende with support by Sia Kolisi. Hendrikse again sniping around the outside, trying to go himself. Covering there by Lebok at the back. Peter Steph going in with Jasper Wiese and Steven Kitsov. Lebok again looking to provide scrum off support, but not doing it in again. Sia Kolisi, 5 minutes out. Malcolm Marx in the corner. Springboks had their first try, 4 minutes done, and Sia Kolisi's already got his hands in the pie.
Well, just fantastic work by the Springbok forwards there. Slick ball retention, good hands, and they didn't really do it. Or two on the game line every time. We simply ran out of numbers in the
Yeah, just a great bit of last-minute offloading there by Sia Kolisi. And I said it, it's Malcolm Marx's 16th try, and there it comes. So he moves himself on to, let's have a look, 80 points in his career. So really great stuff from South Africa's hooker. You can see the fire on the face of Sia Kolisi. He really wants to make a contribution here and show faith that the Springboks management have taken him to the World Cup. Mani Lebok eyeing up the polls.
What a fantastic first touch after 6 months out with injury. Kolisi with a really superb offload in the tackle there.
Lebok hits it and just shaves the right hand upright on the outside. So no conversion there, but he'll feel a little bit more confident that it's just been a better outing for him. They said to us, did Wales, that the stadium roof would be closed, and here we are with the sunshine beaming down. So I'm not quite sure what happened. Perhaps at halftime they will seal us in. Kickoff now by Costello. High ball and easily collected in the air by Argeus Neyman inside his own 22. Ruck takes a little bit of a time to form, but eventually confident there for Hendrikse. Setting up for the box kick. Wiese to block, and that's gone straight out. And 5-0 in the 6th minute.
Very pleasing for South Africa that on their first visit to the Wales 22, they got points. So a great start in terms of taking their opportunities this afternoon.
D with the throw finds his selected catcher in Rowlands. Taken up into contact in midfield by Williams. Now here we go. Ireland looking to really press that South African defensive line. What are they going to be able to do? Tried to pick and go, did Rio Dyer, but it'll be a penalty advantage, presumably for offside there, or hands in the ruck. Still advantage for Wales. They've fumbled it out the back, and the referee's going to blow his whistle and said, right, fellas, let's go back to where the spring... To get back within 2, Costello selecting to attempt the 3 points. So, small error there by the Springboks. They're known for their rush defense, but in that instance, just too excited.
I think it might have been for someone going off their feet in the ruck, actually. There was it might have been Malcolm Marks, who was kind of trapped and couldn't get out. But this should be a very comfortable kick for Sam Costello.
Yeah, Williams, like we said at the start of the broadcast, he really wants to show that the faith by Warren Gatland to bring him in is one that's not unfounded. So really an opportunity for him. Just 5 caps, but like I said, 2 years since his last test. So it's a long time, and you may have almost given up by now. Just inside that 10-meter line, but straight in front, and he slots it, does Costello. So 5-3 in the 9th minute of this encounter. We said it at the start. Do not think that you're just going to steamroll this Wales team. Although Springboks have been known, this season at least, to score most of their points in the 3rd quarter of a game. So it's going to be interesting. Lebok facing us. And telling his men, just hang on a sec. And here we go. The restart is underway. Just inside the 22. Taken up and smashed is Wainwright by Canan Moody. Immediately on his feet again is Moody, which is good to see. Pick and go from, or rather just finding a forward there from young Kieran Hardy. Not so young, I suppose, if you're playing international rugby. Sets up for the box kick. Nearly charged down, and boy, oh boy, have they hit Hardy there hard. It looks like Argeus Neyman with a bit of a stiff arm. He's lucky to get away with that. But collected in the end by Dyer. And the Springboks don't have possession. Willie Leroux tries to steal it, and the referee says, no, not allowed. Offside again there for the Springboks.
Yeah, a bit of a little discipline from Willie Leroux. He hasn't had the greatest start to this test match. Missed a couple of high balls and now conceding a penalty. But he has been really good so far this year. So I'm sure he'll settle into this game sooner rather than later.
Just having a look at that late... It's not a late tackle. He's charged him down. It was perfectly timed. He was just a little bit late to get his arms down. There was Argeus Neyman, the Viking. Right, collected at the front of the line-out. Here we go. Hardy through the middle of the field to Dan Lydiot. Box kick high, trying to get it just outside the 22 of the Springboks. People are queuing up to try and collect. Willie Leroux still not collecting it. Peter Steph du Toit collecting it in the end. Jaden Hendrikse away, and he's just thumped it straight out on the near side. So it'll be the Springbok side of the 10-meter line in their own half. And 10.5 minutes go on as Ken will take us through Rather, they're saying inside the 22 is where the lineup will be taken. So, Ken, please take us through to the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, it was knocked back into their 22 by the Springboks there. Another high ball, which Philly Leroux failed to take. So Wales will now have a line out on the 10-meter line, near side of the field, with Elliot D in his first start since July 2021. About to feed the line out. With it's a 5-man line out. D goes to the middle. Well taken by Aaron Wainwright. Wales have got them all on the go here. But even it has come through legally and is causing a lot of problems there for Wales. They're not making much momentum. Slowly forward. Referee is looking impatient. About to blow his whistle. Doesn't. It's a real wrestle in this maul. Neither side making much progress at all. And referee Andrew Brace has had enough of the stalemate and will award the scrum to the Springboks. Good maul defence there.
Fantastic bit of work there from Jean Klein. He really made sure that he was a pain to the Welsh line, and was Stephen Kitsoff really upsetting things. Sia Kolisi throwing a hand in there. Ken, what I'm looking forward to is essentially you could call the starting Springbok front row against a really inexperienced Wales front three here.
Yeah, first scrum of the test match, and arguably South Africa's starting front row. And this is one area of the game where the Springboks will be hoping to have considerable dominance against two props who are playing in just their second tests. The first scrum is aborted, though. Referee Brace not happy with the pack down, so they will scrum again just inside South Africa's 10-meter zone. Stephen Kitsoff and Frans Malherbe and Malcolm Marx, all hugely experienced, of course. 61 caps for Malherbe and Marx, 74 for Kitsoff. Here they go again, and this time it's a short-arm penalty, free kick rather, to the Springboks for Wales in early. And Manie Libbok steps up to try and find touch as far down the field as he can. Will, of course, be a Wales throw-in.
A little bit of youthful exuberance there.
He's found touch, but it's a disappointing touch, really skewed off his boot. And the line out is back on the 10-meter line again. And again, Wales is thrown. They go to the middle again. Quick tap to Hardy, to Costello. Short ball to Williams on the crash ball, but he wasn't aware of the plan, and it's gone loose. Malcolm Marx cleans up, and the referee will award a scrum to South Africa for the knock-on.
I just praised Johnny Williams, and then what does he do? Knock the ball on. Some players are allergic to compliments.
I think there must have been some sort of miscommunication there, because he clearly wasn't expecting the ball.
No.
I think he was doing the dummy crash run.
Let's try the scrum again, so you can get it right this time.
Yeah, we're still on the 10-meter line of South Africa, but pretty much in the middle of the field this time. So this will be the third attempt at a scrum we've had. None of them have been completed so far. Referee Brace has now moved over to the near side of the scrum, and South Africa get a good hit. They've got momentum, and they've got an advantage out of the scrum. Springboks go wide. Here's Jesse Creel over the hole. He bounces off one defender, cuts inside. Side-stepping by the will-o'-the-wisp wing. Just outside the 22-meter line now. Hendrickson to Libbok, puts in the cross kick, but safely covered by Rio Dyer inside the 22. And the referee has not given advantage from that scrum, and instead Dyer gets the mark and will fail to find touch. Philly Leroux, Manie Libbok gathers on the halfway line. Here's Damien Dialendi. stepping through tackles over the 10-metre line. Hendrickse goes right to LaRue, to Khaleesi, bursting through the tackles of Mason Grady. Near the touchline now, Hendrickse goes back left. Kitsoff, head down over the 10-metre line. Hendrickse, Libbok to Malcolm Marks, who knocks on, and the move has broken down just outside the Wales 10-metre line.
I'm not going to be too upset. As a Springbok fan, oh boy, Cheslin Colby, dancing through about 5 or 6 tackles. But what led up to it, Ken, was a monstrous scrum from the Springboks, and we're hopefully going to see another one here again.
Yeah, it was good to see the referee actually reward the Springboks initially, because it did kind of crab sideways a bit, and sometimes referees reset those without giving a penalty. It's just a pity that advantage was called over pretty quickly, which is fine as long as referee Brace is consistent on that. Cheslin Colby is leaving the field, which is a bit of a concern. Straight after that sparkling run of his, so he certainly didn't look too injured just now, but obviously a precautionary measure, and it'll be interesting to see whether it's Williams or Willemse.
Yeah, I imagine Willemse will come in and Jesse Creel out to the wing.
I don't know so much because they want to get Jesse Creel, I think, going at number 13. He's probably going to be the first choice number 13 in replacement for Lucanio the injured and this is also Jesse Creel's first start this year, so he needs game time ahead of the World Cup. So I would imagine a like for like replacement.
Yeah, some bright sunshine out on the left wing, so we can't actually see who is there, but we can see Jesse Creel is on the inside for his usual position at center. So Ken, once again, proving his wisdom. Not that he needs to prove it to anyone. Here we go, scrum time.
So once again, another reset scrum. Wales so far struggling at scrum time, and it's there put in just outside their 10-metre line, close to the middle of the field. Hardy feeds, and a shove straight away comes from the Springboks. The ball bobbling around at the back of the Wales scrum, and they have conceded another penalty this time, with the dominance of the Springbok front row really being felt early on in this test match. Manie Libbok will kick for post.
Stephen Kitsoff, you absolute machine. That's 3 scrums that we've just seen the dominance. You even see Malcolm Marks being popped up there, and he's eye to eye with Elliot D, and a shake of the head from Corey Domachowski. So this is Test rugby. This is not a casual URC game, and not to diminish the level of URC, but Test match rugby is certainly at a level above that. So Manie Libbok's going to have the opportunity to extend the Springboks lead back to 5. 18 minutes gone.
Yes, he's about
17 and a half gone.
45 meters out, but pretty much in the middle of the field. So Libbok would expect to get this one. He missed the angled conversion of the Springboks' first try, but this will hopefully be a good confidence booster for him. He kicks it. It's starting out a bit right. Oh, he's pushed it, has Libbok. So that's another miss for the fly half. The score remains 5-3 to the 18th minute, as Wales will now have a 22-metre dropout. Costello bouncing the ball a couple of times close to the sunny patch, and he goes to the left-hand side of the field where it's well taken. McCain and Mu is swamped by Johnny Williams, and Wales really counter-rucking very well there, and the Springboks guilty of having their hands in the ruck concede the penalty. There's a bit of pushing and shoving between the two sides.
I don't think the Springboks need to be worried about.
No.
Just kick it out. Yeah, I don't think. Look, I don't think the Springboks should get engaged with a bit of argy-bargy. The Welsh are trying to get under the skin here of the Springboks, and we all know at scrum time we are certainly superior today, at least.
100%, David. Yeah, it's really not necessary to be involved in the distractions as Wales get their line out going just inside the Springbok 10-metre line. Midfield ball now for Wales. And again, South Africa have conceded the penalty at the ruck. They went piling in there. It was a strong defence from Damien Deal and Jesse Creel. But referee Andrew
Creel,
Grace,
I think, is the guilty man
with,
there. He's not rolled away, but he's not exactly like he can roll away, to be honest. At the bottom of a pile of dragons.
Yeah, it was a good tackle by him, and then the Wales cleaners made sure that they went straight in on top of him. And he did really have nowhere to go. But that is the way that Northern Hemisphere refs blow the breakdowns we've seen in the URC. And so Sam Costello has a kick. 40-odd meters, 38 meters out, and pretty much in front. And this will give Wales the lead if he does get it. Costello kicks. It's looking very straight and very good. So 3 points for Wales. Wales take the lead. 6 points in the 21st minute. Back to you, David.
Yeah, Lubbock will get us underway once again. And one of the strongest criticisms of Moni Lubbock has been his goal kicking. So he will no doubt want to rectify that. And I'm sure he trains quite heavily with it during the week. But Rowlands takes the cash after the restart. Just outside his 22. Hardy looking for some options. Will he set up for a box? He's trying to scramble it through a couple of feet there. He does go for the box kick. And it looks like it'll be Jasper Visas. But no, Willie Leroux finally getting under a ball. Confident catch from him. Wonderful. Good if you're a Springbok fan. Maharba on the halfway line. And picks and goes. Arches Neyman steals it and goes. Jaden Hendricks are inside for Malcolm Marks. He's got a bit of space. Kane and Moody calling for it on the outside. Malcolm Marks, ball is knocked backward. Recovered there by the Springboks. Penalty advantage. Jasper Visa trying to get over that gain line. 22 meters inside is where the Springboks are. Another visit for them. Kitshoff brought down. Do we still have the advantage? We'd love to know. Hendrikse to Visa. Brought down in the middle of the field, maybe to the left of the upright. There was a hot hesitating pump there from the Springboks out to Kane and Moody, and Moody steps inside the man and over the whitewash. The Springboks took themselves just 2 minutes to get back into the lead.
Yeah, again, a wonderfully worked try by the Springboks. They really have been really good and patient on the ball on attack this afternoon so far. Wales doing a lot of spoiling tactics at the rucks, off sides, and trying to slow down the ball, but the Springboks keeping their calm and just waiting until those gaps present themselves out wide, as they must when one keeps crossing the gain line as they have today.
Have you seen who's replaced Cheslin Colby yet?
I have not, to be honest.
Because it's been all right wing at the moment, and perhaps intentionally so by the Springboks. But it was that dummy pump from Lubbock to Willie Leroux, and then Kane and Moody darted back inside, sidestep, and his centers were there to celebrate with him. Right, Lubbock for an opportunity to finally stick one between the posts. Will he do it? I say finally as if he's missed 6 or 7, but it's only the 2. Maybe I'm just trying to be an optimist. Here we go. Lubbock steps up. And yes! Through the poles we go. The Springboks lead by 6 in the 23rd minute. In the 23rd minute, it's 12 points to 6.
Once again, Willie Leroux showing his vision.
How many tries does Willie Leroux in? How many tries does Costello gets us underway once again? Arches Neyman, the intended recipient, and he gets it once again. Referee blows the whistle and he says the Springboks have obstructed.
Yeah, Kane and Moody a bit late in getting out the way there. Springboks conceding some soft penalties. That's probably the one criticism we can have of their play in this first quarter.
5 of them, Ken.
Keeping Wales in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. 6 points to 12 is where the home side finds himself. Costello is deciding that he wants to go for poles here.
So his hardest kick of the afternoon so far.
Yeah, 15, 20 meters from the near side touchline. I'm going to go with 16 just to be middle of the road. 19 seconds remaining for the kick, but he's just eyeing up those uprights. Great work that he's done this afternoon with the kicking tee. And Ken may have said that it was his most difficult, but certainly you wouldn't have thought he was troubled at all. 3 points means that the Springboks only lead by 3. So 25 minutes gone in this game. And is it me or has the scorecard not updated yet on our broadcast, their broadcast? Is it not meant to be 12-9?
It's definitely 12-9.
There we go.
Yeah,
Finally. Maybe I did a little bit delayed off the mark there. Right, kickoff once again. Deeper this time, near side of the park. Collected by Wainwright. Into contact, but not over his 22. Swarmed by Springboks, but equally up to the task were the forwards from Wales. Ben Carter, into contact. Still inside his own 22. Springboks proving difficult for the Welsh. Not able to get out there. Malcolm Marx trying to swim through a sea of red like Moses. Box kick out the back. Here we go. Just in between halfway and 10 meter line. And again, Willie Leroux's dropped it, and it's a knock-on penalty advantage for the Welsh. Ball goes through the hands. Williams taken out by Jesse Kriel. Some space out wide for Evans. Evans got 2 men on. He's got 2 men on his outside. Brought down by Siya Kolisi, chasing and tracking back. I wonder if it's still advantage. Certainly not. I don't imagine. Rollins just over the Springboks 10-meter line. Looking for options goes Hardy. Domachowski thought about the pass, but not going anywhere. And the referee nearly blew his whistle. And he does. The Springboks have a penalty. And not releasing the ball is the direction from referee Andrew Brace.
Malcolm Marx, fantastic work there at the breakdown. One of his trademark jackals. Wales certainly have the Springboks stretched a bit there with that move. Johnny Williams getting the ball wide with a long pass in the tackle. And he was hit hard. Good work there by the prodigal centre.
Not found touch, and that means Wales are going to return the kick. Their return kick doesn't find touch either. Kolisi in midfield. Over the halfway line. Takes 2 men to bring him down. Hendrickse, near side of the park, looking for some options. Lebok again, out wide to Peter Steph du Toit. Near side of the park, inside to Damien Delende. Is shoved back a little bit, but getting over the halfway line eventually there from some help by Jasper Visser. Willie Leroux, again, trying to get involved. Over the halfway line goes Malherbe. Willie Leroux, sidesteps. Quick offload to Malcolm Marx. Doesn't really have support, and so there's going to have to be some work by Kitsoff. He does manage to get it. Out wide to Cheslin Colby, who's back on the field. Brought down in between 10 and 22. Hendrickse brings it back inside. Kitsoff taking it into contact with support from his hooking partner. Now for Lebok. Lebok looking for his next option. Klein into contact, and the Springboks are under pressure here because they're not able to get rid of the ball, and the referee's pointing for a penalty. Tap and go by Hendrickse around the back of the ruck. Kitsoff takes 2 men to bring him down. Isn't able to hand it off, and then eventually is. Malcolm Marx hands it off in contact. Arjes Neyman through to Frans Malherbe. Resolute defense here by the Welsh inside their own 22. Jasper Visser. Again, 2 men having to take down the Springboks. Jaden Hendrickse looked like he may have knocked it on there from the back of the ruck, but referee not seeing it, although the Welsh players were remonstrating to say, come on. Jasper Visser picking it out the back. Really dirty bit of rugby here. And turnover ball. Knocked on by the Springboks, and they immediately thump it away, do the Welsh. Villileroux lets that one run into touch between 10 and halfway on the far side of the park, inside his own half. Scrappy rugby.
Yeah, disappointing end to the Springboks move there. They really seem to be tiring out this defence. The gaps seem to be coming. They were making lots of yards, and just a bit of untidiness into perhaps just rushing things a bit. Let Wales off the hook.
Yeah, we really wanted some drive there from the Springboks. So, Klein is the recipient. And this one is thumped away onto the far side of the park and knocked on, it looks like, by one of the Welsh players. And the referee, Andrew Brace, blows his whistle.
Interesting tactic there. A cross kick from just outside their own 22 by the Springboks, launched towards the halfway line, making it a 50-50 ball, which this time came off. Interesting that Cheslin Colby's back on. I certainly didn't see any blood involved in his incident, so we can only presume he went off for a head impact. But he has obviously passed.
So he studied, Ken, that's why.
Very sharp, David. Very sharp.
Thank you. Kai Evans on debut there, and I'm sure his parents will be looking on with some pride as they see their son don the jersey of the Welsh. Referee saying, let's reset, as Ken will take us through the final 10 minutes of this first half.
So a scrum just inside the 10-metre line of the Springboks. It collapses, and they will have a reset. Wales really struggling at scrum time so far today. Two very inexperienced props up against the front row that won the last World Cup final. So it could well be a long afternoon further for Wales in the scrums.
And it's not much respite coming off the bench, Ken. There's no respite.
No, definitely not, no. Although it'll be interesting to see how Oxen Chair goes, his first part of the test season after injury. Right, the scrum is set. Kieran Hardy to feed. No, he's not happy. It's moving around, and he declines to put the ball in, so they will reset again. Referee Andrew Brace has had a word with Elliot D, the Wales hooker, and Malcolm Marks are the ones who are up in the scrums.
And Hendricks are throwing up
So
his hands there after the last one and saying, come on. Got to be kidding me. Big scrum, here we go.
So 5 metres in from touch, just a metre or so inside the Springboks half. Kieran Hardy to feed for Wales. Let's see if we can get a scrum. Hardy again, delaying, and the referee has had enough. Quite right, he's given the penalty to the Springboks for Wales tight head Kieran Asarati going down free. And Mark has the ball. He will no doubt kick for touch, and the Springboks will try and get them all going.
Yeah, it was one frustration after another by the Welsh forwards. Referee had just warned them, and I suppose trying to resort to a bit of maybe gamesmanship is not the right word, but a bit of cynical play there, because he's been dominated so handsomely by Stephen Kitsoff. You don't easily get away from the red plum like that. Marks with the throw.
So the Springboks launch a maul. Marks taken by Jean Klein at the front. They set them all. It veers to the right a bit, but they're making some ground. See, here, Khaleesi breaks clean. Goes for ball back, good quick ball. Hendrickson to Malcolm Marks. 5 meters out now, the Springboks. Hendrickson again. Quick recycling by the Springboks there, in line with the poles. And Vinny LaRue, who puts in a clever little dab kick. It bounces initially kindly for Canan Moodie, but then a Welsh hand gets in the way, and
that's
may well have knocked the ball deliberately into
in goal. Ooh.
The dead ball area. I think so. In goal, the referee and the assistant referee are discussing this, and the TMO is going to have a look. That might even be a penalty try, in fact.
Yeah, former Ireland international Joy Neville in the ladies' game is today's television match official. But oh my word, that is if there is cynical, Ken. Wow, just have a look at this one. No man.
So Canan Moodie had it, and Rio Dyer reached up and basically just slapped it out of his reach at the last moment. He was right up against the touchline, so there was nowhere else for that ball to go than to go out into the in-goal area. So, yeah, this is probably going to be a yellow card and a penalty try, I would imagine.
Yeah, just really having a good look at it, the assistant referee team. And Ken, live replay, it still doesn't look good for young Dyer. Just his 9th cap this afternoon, the Dragons wing. Oh, it really doesn't look good. It looks like his forearm, as referee Andrew Brace is indicating, it's his forearm that knocks it out the way of Canan Moodie. I'd like to see a camera angle from the opposite side of the field, looking face on with Canan Moodie. I don't know if that is available, but we just have a look here. Really, really slow. It's in the hands of Canan Moodie, and that's when the arm comes in from Dyer to knock it away. So I tend to agree with you here, Ken. I would like to have some mitigation for Dyer, and I don't know if there can be. An all-Irish officiating team. We did mention Brace's place of birth, but he is under the Irish Rugby Football Union.
I'm going to look at it from Dyer's point of view, that Moodie didn't exactly have the ball under control. It kind of popped out from his grasp, and Dyer then slapped it. He's not deliberately knocking it on because he's facing his own try line. But I suppose the issue could be deliberately slapping the ball, into the in-goal area.
And also the raising of the hands, like, I'm completely innocent. It leads me to believe what he did, he knew was wrong. It's like, I didn't do that. It wasn't me. Throwing his hands up in the air. Oh, it's definitely not me.
Getting his apologies in early.
Yeah. No, I didn't touch it. You know when a footballer, there's that gentle tap on the toes, and then immediately throws his hands up and says, "Oh, no, it wasn't me." I don't know, Dyer, my friend. I always got to look at body language.
Wasn't there a top footballer called Rio Dyer as well?
I'm not sure. Kieran Dyer, I know that they're...
Kieran Dyer.
And there is the decision from the referee.
And it's a yellow card, for deliberately knocking the ball out. Seems fair enough. Now, the big thing is, will there be a penalty try?
Or a penalty?
I guess Moodie not necessarily have the ball under control.
Penalty try. Yeah, the scorecard is shifted from 12 to 15 and then shifts once again 15, to 19.
And so the Springboks, it's a penalty try,
Yeah, they've...
the penalty try has been awarded.
And then again, he throws his hands up as he walks on and says, I don't know what I did wrong. I mean, is it that grey to you? I certainly don't think so. Here we go.
So that's a really good strike for the Springboks. 6 minutes before halftime, they now lead 19 points in as Costello kicks just outside the 22 of the Springboks. Super take by Ergia Snyman, and Peter Steph du Toit then carries the ball forward. Wales fighting hard at the breakdown, but Jaden Hendrickse is putting the ball back with his boot and will no doubt launch a kick. Now here it goes. Not the longest of kicks by Hendrickse. It'll come down just outside the 10-meter line. Tap back South Africa's way. Hendrickse to Libbok, to Dialende, who kicks perhaps a little bit straighter than he wanted, but the chase is on. But good covering there by Mason Grady. And the ball then gets lost. And Jesse Creel, I think, has dotted it down behind the try line of Wales. Wales seem to have that under control through Mason Grady. But the ball was lost, and Jesse Creel, the sharpest to react.
Yeah, it was a good bit of work there. Canan Moody not clean with his collection, but getting it backwards. Libbok to Dialende. It was Dialende rather, who slotted through that kick. Great tackle there, coming off of the right wing, Tom Rogers, and then dotted down by Jesse Creel. Did it come off of Rogers? No, it just popped up from the tackle, and Springbok fans in the background celebrating, and as a great local football commentator would say, click, click, bang, because it's 2 and 2 here, really, from the Springboks. Very quickly, they've extended their lead from 10 points to 15 points in a conversion. 15 points in the conversion still to come.
I'm not sure what Mason Grady was trying to do there. It looked like he was trying to pass the ball from behind his own try line. And just as he tried to do that, Kobe, Jesse Creel has scored. Manie Libbok with the conversion. He's left this one out to the left, unfortunately. So 24-9, the Springboks lead, and there are 4 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, great bit of work there by the Springboks to put serious pressure there, but you can see the inexperience, Ken. The decision-making not very certain. It doesn't help when you've got one man on the sidelines. Not a surprise that the Springboks were able to make the most of it. Here we go.
Costello will restart again for Wales. What a torrid few minutes they've had. This one is deeper into the 22-meter area. Jasper Wiese picks up and carries, but is strongly met by Wainwright and Dobachowski. Springboks get the ball back, though. Hendrickse. And he will kick and will find touch. And he's got it just past his own 10-meter line. So useful clearance there by the Springbok scrum half.
Yeah,
Wales with 3 minutes left in the half. Yeah, someone's down. Is that Domachowski, who's
he's
kneeling down?
He's tired of facing Frans Malherbe. Is that enough?
Yes, not the easiest of tasks. Taking on a fired up Frans Malherbe.
And he just quietly goes about his job, does Frans Malherbe.
He's a bit of a silent assassin.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy, does he have a work rate of note.
Yeah, and an absolute rock in the scrums. Tight head prop obviously being such a crucial position in any team. And South Africa very lucky to have had Frans Malherbe there for 62 test matches now. As Ireland throw to the fan set the maul. It's well defended again by the Springboks. So D breaks loose to Williams. Head down, makes a few yards, just short of the 10-meter line now. And Siya Kolisi has come through and caused enormous problems for scrum off Kieran Hardy, who shovels the ball back on the ground. Kolisi then makes another tackle. It's like he's never been away in this game. And another tackle, or rather that's by Jean Klein this time. Springboks fierce defence at close quarters here, not allowing Wales to get any momentum as Hardy digs the ball back, and he's resorted to kicking high up and under. It really hasn't gone far enough. I fancy there are a lot of Wales players off sides as they compete for that ball, but it comes back South Africa's way. Long pass from Hendrickse to Libok and to Willie Leroux, who will try and probe the right-hand touchline, but Kai Evans is there, and he kicks downfield. Safely fielded by the Springboks. Back midfield, Libok now goes for the left touchline and has overcooked it. He was well outside his 22-metre line and sent it soaring over the touchline. So Wales win that little game of gaining grounds. They have a line out 2 or 3 metres inside South Africa's 10-metre line.
Yeah, it's just a frustrating day for Monty Libok.
Yeah, battling to really impose himself with the boot in this game as Wales have a short line. They go to the front. They set them all again and again. South Africa pushing them towards the touchline, so the ball comes out. Costello is breaking the advantage line, gets the ball back. Hardy and Jack Morgan make some ground. But the Springbok defence at the moment is suffocating Wales. Good work, though, by Jack Morgan again as he gets over the advantage line. Trying to get the ball out wide. Intercepted by Cheslin Colby. Catches it on the rebound and kicks down the touchline. The race is on. Jesse Creel. Oh, just his footballing skills let him down a bit there. The ball was at his feet. He shouts out in frustration. He was trying to kick it on. He'd won the foot race. Got in front of the defender, but then could only stub the ball out off his boot.
Make no mistake, Jesse Creel may not be the youngest Springbok that we currently have, but boy, oh boy, has he got gas.
Yeah, he's still got pace, as he showed there. And Wales have a line-up just outside their 22-metre line. They go to the back to Ben Carter. And they are slowly mauling the ball up. The half-time hooter is gone. The ball comes back, and they will hoof it into touch. And that'll bring the halftime whistle with South Africa in firm control of this match, leading 24-9 thanks to 2 tries, one of them a penalty try, in the last 6 minutes of the first half. David Midgley, South Africa really getting a firm grip on this game in that second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. It was those first 5 penalties that we were shaking our heads at the Springbok ill-discipline, and they really turned that around. A bit of fortune there with the penalty try, but in the end, it was the Springboks who showed their power in dominating in the second half of that first half of this encounter, and it's going to be a difficult afternoon remaining for the Welsh Dragons. They really will want to show their flair, but if the Springboks keep mauling them at line-out and scrum time, I think it's going to be a very, very long afternoon for the men in Cardiff this afternoon.
So, just to recap quickly what happened in that first half, the Springboks opened the scoring in the 5th minute through a try by Malcolm Marx, finishing off well out on the wing after a sustained period of pressure. But a string of penalties allowed Wales to stay in the game, despite South Africa's clear dominance at scrum time. Sam Costello kicking 3 penalties for Wales. And Marnie Libok had a tough day with the boot so far. He's only succeeded with 1 out of 4 kicks. South Africa did, however, score 4 tries in that first half. Kanan Moody getting the second in the 22nd minute, and then a penalty try, which also saw Rio Dyer in the 34th minute. And barely a minute later, Jesse Creel scoring as well. So South Africa lead 24-9. Do join us in the next 10 minutes or so for the second half.
Welcome back to this One World Sports Radio broadcast this afternoon of the Wales and South Africa game. My name is Dave Midgley, and alongside me for this game has been Ken, the legend Borland, just highlighting some of the thoughts of the fans. Kevin Kraus saying we need a reliable kicker, we can't go on, and Ria Vardaman saying thank you for the commentary. I appreciate it. And Ken, maybe you want to touch on that. The first half, whilst all the Springboks highlighting some small errors or chinks in the armor, if you will.
Yeah, it was obviously a very good first half for the Springboks, but they won't be totally satisfied. Marnie Libbok only succeeded with 1 out of 6. So that's a bit of a concern given all the talk around South Africa and goal kicking at the World Cup. In that first quarter, the discipline let the Springboks down a bit. You know, there was a string of penalties. Sam Costello kicked through the poles to keep Wales in the game, really. So those are two things that they won't be entirely happy with. Otherwise, you know, South Africa at the moment, and I just think we need to mention Easy and just how what a phenomenal first half he has. He hasn't played rugby for 6 months. He had knee surgery, and he's just making impacts. It's like he's never been away. So that really is a huge outcome of that first half.
Absolutely, Ken. It was like he never missed a game. Great to see South Africa's talismanic, enigmatic captain back on the park, and we've just seen a shake of the hands there between him and Andrew Brace as they head back out on the park. Looks like Siya Kolisi might be resting. We'll just have to let you know what the changes are post halftime, and we might see that of Marco van Staden come onto the park. I don't know if you've been notified of any changes at halftime, Ken?
Not yet, but the pundits have been talking about it. Maybe, you know, Siya Kolisi is. There's no need to risk him in Marco van Staden to get a run.
Absolutely. Marco van Staden is on the park, and South Africa received the kick after the halftime. High hanging kick there from Hendrikse at the back of the scrum, at the back of the ruck rather, inside his own 10-meter line, collected by Wales. Chip and go rather, is the idea. Visa collects it and tries to break his way through. Van Staden immediately into things and trying to upset life for the Welsh players. Malcolm Marx taking it up towards the halfway line, rather 10-meter line of the Springboks. Remember, the Springboks playing right to left and the Welsh left to right. Space for the Springboks out wide. Jesse Creel, he's got Colby on his inside. Beats one tackle, doesn't manage to get another one, and it looks like he might be thrown out here, and referee's going to blow his whistle. It was a knock on there. Trying to marshal him into touch there were the Welsh players, and it's a knock on and a raise of the hand to apologize from Cheslin Colby.
Some really big work in defence there by Wales captain Jacques Morgan. There'll be a big weight differential between those two.
Yeah, absolutely. And just 1 minute 45 left on the clock for that yellow card of Rio Dyer. Siya Kolisi sitting next to one of his best mates in the South African side, Ibn Etzebeth, who doesn't play this afternoon, who you imagine Ken will play tomorrow, next weekend rather.
Etzebeth, who's in a t-shirt and a cap.
Etzebeth will play next weekend, Ken? What do you think?
Very relaxed.
Scrum time for Springboks. Hendrikse with the feed. Massive scrum you would think is coming here. Well, it's gone down, and referee Andrew Brace saying use it. Visa picks it up out the back, slips a little bit, and Hendrickse gets the ball. Libok with space out wide. He's ducking inside. Kanan Moody, the ball's thrown past him. He's asked to continue to play. Referee saying he's knocked backwards. And now the ball is held up because the referee said actually it was a knock-on. So initially the indication was that it was knocked backwards, and I'm presuming the TMO is suggesting otherwise.
Or the assistant referee, you could see Kanan Moody actually stopped playing. He was so sure it was a knock-on. But a lovely looping run there from Marty Libok, who exploited a wide channel out wide. And just a pity that final pass to Moody. I suspect Kanan Moody maybe overran the pass just a fraction. Otherwise, it would have been a try for all money.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see that some smiles on the face of South African captain there, Siya Kolisi, which is hopefully a good indication that he's feeling strong. Huge second shove here by the Springboks, and how Wales have picked up that penalty is absolutely beyond me. Perhaps coming in sideways is what the referees indicated. Boy, oh boy, I don't know how you collapse the scrum if you dominate. Ken, please explain that one to me.
And there was certainly no hint of the Springboks manipulating the scrum to either side. They just went straight through there. And yeah, I find it impossible to believe anything else happened than Wales just collapsing under the force of it. So that is a really strange decision by Andrew Brace. He indicated that he felt South Africa had pulled the scrum down, which frankly is utterly bizarre, just outside the Wales 22. And they were so dominant in the scrum. Why on earth would they pull it down?
Yeah, nearly a turnover ball there by the Springboks, and the referee says they're encroaching, or knock-on rather, by Argees Neyman. Ken, it's like being run over as a pedestrian and then saying to the pedestrian, it's actually your fault, you were run over. Yeah, I can't quite grasp that one.
Yeah, or a bit like some of the comments about Tane Basham, who's on the Wales bench today, being cited for headbutting Owen Farrell's shoulder in the infamous incident last weekend. It's that sort of decision. Yeah.
Brett Dane Mitchell saying, "Go Bokke! Thank you for your support." Continued this time with a line out from the Welsh. More going. Use it once is the call from Brace. Trying to fish it out the back there. Penalty advantage, collapsing them all. Kieran Hardy through to Dyer, who's back on the park, over the 22-meter line of the Springboks. Hardy going to the far side. There's nobody really home there, and some covering work there by the Springboks to shut down Jack Morgan. Now 7-8 meters out. Hardy looking for an option. He goes to D, who's brought down by Marco van Staden. And the referee blows his whistle and says, we're going to go back for the earlier penalty. I'm not quite sure. Maybe the Springboks were offside once again. Ken, when do you imagine the bomb squad will come on? Now? In the next 5?
I think it'll depend on what the coaches want to get out of this game in terms of the individual players. But I would imagine Oxen Chair perhaps needs to get a bit more time than some of the other guys who have featured quite a lot in the Rugby Championship. So I'd imagine he'd come on fairly soon. I think Franco Mostert needs a good performance, so he'll probably come on a bit earlier as well. Dwayne Vermeulen's played in the Rugby Championship. He's good. Grant Williams could well come on. Yeah, I see there all three of the front row. So forget what I said.
Yeah. So good to see Ox. He was out for a chest injury before the start of the Rugby Championship. You were saying concern.
Tear or strain.
Fafterclack carrying the water for the men in green and gold today. No doubt offering some banter to the Welsh players. He likes to get under the skin of his opposition. And this throw very near to the Springboks try line. Wales with an opportunity. 9.3 meters, according to the broadcaster. D looking for a jumper, and Klein picks it up. Collects it inside his own 5 meters. Springboks now have the ball. Stolen wonderfully there by Jean Klein. Immediate impact has the bomb squad. Reversal of fortunes, if you will. Hendrikse hoofs this bomb out from the back. Just in front of his own 10-meter line. Dyer beats one tackle. Slips the second, but runs into Vincent Koch. Hardy looking for some options. He goes to his captain, Morgan. Going up towards that time, and Marco van Staden trying to, that 47th minute here. Marco van Staden trying to disrupt play. Hardy, far side of the park. Looks for his captain once again. Excuse me. With Visa into contact. Visa trying to steal things. Now the Springboks trying to turn the ball over. Pops up eventually for Domachowski. Wales not really going forward. Certainly lateral movement. They were right outside. 6th phase now. Williams over the 10-meter line. Hardy goes to the far side. Quick offload there to Domachowski. Into contact over 10-meter line. Hardy looking again for an option, and it's bobbled away back behind the line of the Welsh men. Williams ran into the number 9 for South Africa, Jane Hendrikse, and it looks like it was a knock-on. So scrum time now. Ken, anybody who's been watching Springbok rugby in the last 5 years will be licking their chops as if there were a braai outside their bedroom window. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be an incredible scrum.
Well, I'm just licking my lips at the defensive shift the Springboks just put in there. Absolutely fantastic defense there. The pressure coming in, and Wales just really went nowhere. They went backwards. That was a prime example of offensive defense by the Springboks, and eventually forcing the mistake. And just a little side note on how well Damien Dialendi, he was at the forefront of the defence there, how well he's played in this game, and a pretty seamless partnership with Jesse Creel, as expected.
Changes in the props for Wales. Nicky Smith and Henry Thomas making their way onto the park. Nicky Smith earning his 43rd cap, and he'll go up against Vincent Koch with his 45th cap. Henry Thomas, just the 1 cap before this, goes up against a certainly fire-up Ox and Chair. Right, the set call comes. Hendrikse with a huge shove by the Springboks. Penalty advantage. Hendrikse, no, Hardy, come on. Hardy tried to get in there and steal it away from Hendrikse. It's silly, but high fives all around from the Springbok pack, because, Ken, that was certainly well earned.
Wow, well, the replacement front row certainly making a statement with that scrum there. What a fantastic effort from them, and a timely penalty for the Springboks, because they battled a little bit to get momentum the last 5 minutes or so.
The first 10 minutes in this half, not yet yielding any points, but certainly some momentum for the Springboks with the replacements coming on and showing that they are not to be considered as a second choice in any way. Vincent Koch-Emanu, I don't think he started this year, but boy, oh boy, when he does come on, he just smashes anybody else. Dwayne Vermeulen is now on the park, replacing Jasper Visser, and he earns a 69th cap. Collection there from Erge Snyman. Into contact goes Jesse Creel as the first option. Kanan Moody in the scrum half position, and he tries to find Jaden Hendrikse out wide. He just trips up, let's call it that. He just bumbles this one into touch. Franco Mostert also on the park, and we'll just let you know who he is replaced in but a moment.
Perhaps Hendrikse and Moody should have stuck to their day jobs there. We should have had Hendrikse passing out wide to Moody on the wing, I fear.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, in the hands of the Welsh. Williams over the 22-meter line. Now goes to the blind side, runs into Oxenchair and Dwayne Vermeulen. Ox being a nuisance there at ruck time. Some desperate support here needed for the Welsh. And the box kick coming. Hoofed up high into the air. Who will be the collection agent? Kane and Moody not getting it in the end, and Dyer on halfway with the catch. Referee saying it's all good. Through to Costello. Hands it off to number 6, Dan Lydiot. An experienced man who's been very quiet in this game. Through the hand. Boy, oh boy, was that a horrible tackle on the outside. Dyer with a bit of space. He's running into some free room there. Inside to Costello. Nearly saw the try line, but brought down shy by Kane and Moody. Hard work here by Franco Mostert to upset the Springbok. To not upset the Springbok, upset the Wales attack momentum here. Hardy again in the 8th phase. Turnover by Peter Steph du Toit. He's got all the space in the room. He's got Jesse Creel on his outside. He's been chased down by Tom Rogers. Will he get there? He tries the ankle tap, and Jesse Creel under the sticks between the posts. Try time.
Well, just some wonderful aggressive defence from Dwayne Vermeulen. First of all, pushing the Wales attack behind the advantage line, passing off the back foot, if you like, and Peter Steph du Toit with a wonderful intercept. And Jesse Creel, there was that pace again that you spoke about earlier, David Midgley, and also the strength to hand off the last defender.
My apologies, Ken. I did steal that try from you. Just the momentum for the 50-minute mark didn't quite allow us to do a smooth transition there. But Jesse Creel with another try. That's his second of the afternoon, Ken, and in his career, his 14th.
Yeah, he's another one who's had a fantastic game today, really showing that as much of a big loss it is not to have Lukhanyo Jesse Creel is really a high-quality outside centre, as well as Manie Libbok has his easiest kick of the day from right in front. And he adds the 2 points to the conversion. South Africa lead now 31-9 in the 53rd minute. It's been a bit of a troubled first 10 minutes of the second half for the Springboks. But once again, they've shown that they are in the mood to take their opportunities today, and clinical finishing has their first points of the second half by Jesse Creel, his second try of the match, and South Africa's 5th try of the game. Wales restart via Sam Costello, and it's an acrobatic take from Franco Mostert midway between the 10 and 22-metre lines. Wales almost get the ball out, but it pops back South Africa's way. Oxenchair now fighting hard over the advantage line he goes. Jaden Hendricks just outside his 22, and he'll launch the box kick. It's not going to find touch, but Kane and Moody up in the air competing, but Wales have got the ball back. Here's Hardy sniping. And Wainwright out to the back line again now. Rowlands swivels in the tackle, makes a couple of yards. Wales going left. Williams. Wales now go right again. Still outside the Springboks 10-metre line. Little loop move, and it is knocked on by Wales as Sam Costello pass to Will Rowlands. The pass perhaps a little bit low for the tight forward, and he spilt it. So a bit of reprieve for South Africa. They'll have a scrum.
Jono McEwen on YouTube saying, come on, Booker, from the biggest Sharks supporter in Scotland, the Great White. Now, is he saying the Durban Sharks or the Sale Sharks? I don't want to misunderstand him here, and forgive me if I've mispronounced your surname. Hopefully it's the Sharks from Durban. I know Ken would appreciate a fellow Sharks man.
He said, come on, Bokke. So I imagine he's a Durban Sharks fan. And quite a few of them, of course, in this Springbok team that is just preparing to scrum down now, just inside their own half. And in fact, the Springbok front row is all Sharks players at the moment. Bongi Mbanambi, Oxen Chair, and Vincent Koch, who will join them at the start of the new season. Jaden Hendrickse feeds the scrum, and once again, the Springboks are making headway with a big shove. Bit of untidy ball for Hendrickse to get out, but he does well in the end. Damien Dialendi, again, so strong in midfield, steps through a couple of tackles. Hendrickse switches direction to Mbanambi, short pass to Koch, who ducks his head down and charges over the gain line. Hendrickse to LaRue at first receiver. Moody, long pass out to Cheslin Colby in a bit of space there. Those dancing shoes again. Good defensive work though by Louis Rees-Zammit. And referee Andrew Brace is blowing very sternly on his whistle. I think this is going to be the advantage from the scrum for the Springboks. They'll have a penalty back in the middle of the field as Wales make a replacement. Elliot D, the hooker, being replaced by Sam Parry.
Yeah, and the Springboks making a change of their own with Damien Willemse coming on for Willie Leroux. We see Andre Pollard and Lucanio Am looking like two children that didn't get invited to a birthday party. And I certainly cannot find a reason to say, this is fair in any way for them.
Yeah, well, I guess the Springboks want them around to do their rehab with the Springboks physios and conditioners on the off chance that they might be ready for the World Cup. Pollard certainly, there were people who thought he might play today, actually. But who knows? He might be fit for that massive game next Friday against the All Blacks at Twickenham, the final warm-up for the Springboks before the World Cup. So Wales have a scrum, surprisingly enough. I'm not sure where that came from. Springboks had a scrum advantage, but Wales actually making some headway in the scrum there. Out they go left, Williams to Costello on the roop around, but Caden Moody makes a good read defensively and halts him. Ball back from the ruck for Wales. Rowlands steps past one tackle, Lydiate, and Williams again as Nicky Smith desperately tries to evade the Springbok rush defence. Wales not making too much headway. Johnny Williams stepping, he makes some ground over the halfway line. As Rees-Zammit. Max Llewellyn,
like rather. Max Llewellyn, yeah.
Yeah, Max Llewellyn fighting hard to get to a tackle, but he's penalised for playing the ball on the ground.
Thomas Williams also on the park, in addition to Max Llewellyn. So some sneaky substitutions there by Wales because we didn't pick it up. But good on them. 31 points to 9.
Yeah, Libbok will kick for the left-hand touchline from this penalty. It's a very high kick, and he has put it brilliantly, no more than 5 meters from the Wales try line. So a fantastic penalty kick there from Marnie Libbok, and a great platform now for South Africa to throw in the line out and get the rolling maul going.
Yeah, perfectly placed. He's redeeming himself somewhat here, is Marnie Libbok with the boot. Just got to fix that goal kicking.
Mbanambi will feed the line out. It goes to the middle where Franco Mostert saws out. Ball out quickly from Staden. 2 for Mullen. Head down and stop just 2 meters short of the try line. Hendrickse. Springboks underneath the poles now. Peter Steff to try. Reaches over with Achia Snyman on his back providing support. And he is put down just next to the left upright for another try for the Springboks.
7th try and his 35th point in the green and gold. The man from Toyota Verblitz. Really great bit of work there from the Springboks. Van Staden to Vermeulen. Into contact they went. Quick release by Hendrickse. Truck and trailer, as you mentioned, from the Springboks. And over they go, the lofty arms of Peter Steph du Toit, able to cross the whitewash as what looks like one of the medical personnel changing the device that they all have on the upper half of their jerseys. It's a tracking device to see how much they're running, how much they're walking, what heart rate is, all the magic of modern sports science, Ken.
Yeah, and a bit of magic deception there by the Springboks, because Wales certainly seemed to be expecting the driving maul, and when South Africa instead got the ball out, the Welsh defence very much caught on the back foot by that wonderful charge by Duane Vermeulen. Marnie Libbok has another, what should be a very comfortable conversion, and indeed he has put it through the posts, and South Africa now lead 38-9. We're 30 seconds away from the hour mark, so I'll head back to you, David.
You, Kihan, saying, "Hier kom Iboka." Absolutely. Kickoff once again towards the Springboks. Delende collects it inside his own 22 and hoofs it away over the near side touchline. Don't forget, if you want to support us, please do by liking and subscribing this to our YouTube channel. Like this video on Facebook and YouTube. You want to tweet us at OneWorldSR, and you can find Ken Borland and myself on Twitter. If you want to be a commentator, please email admin@onewsr.com. If you want to support us, patreon.com/OneWorldSR. We are absolutely privileged to bring you these games, and it's an absolute joy for us to bring you these games and call the play-by-play, if you will, as Teddy Williams makes his way onto the park for his debut, along with Louis Rees-Zammit. Into the line-out go the Welsh. Over halfway, they're trying to attempt rush defense from the Springbok, and their interception from Canan Moodie. He's got no one to take him over, and he crosses the whitewash under the poles. And Ken, kind of a hat-trick, not really a hat-trick. I mean, the penalty try was his, but certainly a great bit of work from him there.
Yeah, Wales really just aren't handling this rush defence of the Springboks at all well. Canan Moodie getting in between rather panicky players there, trying short little offloads and really not showing great vision. And, once Canan Moodie gets an intercept, there are not many people who are going to be able to chase him down.
Yeah, it was just an awareness. Williams is the one who's given the ball away there. He'll be shaking his head. An attempt in vain by Costello to tap the ankle there of Canan Moodie and perhaps buy some time. But no one, like you said, is catching Canan Moodie on an intercept. Williams, hands on hips, looking like the double teapot. And not much he can do. 43 points to 9 and a conversion right in front of the poles. I think this will be good for Marnie Libbok, Ken, in just getting a couple of conversions over the uprights, or over the crossbar.
Yeah, it certainly does his kicking stats well. From 4 at halftime, he's now gone 4 from 7. So that makes things look a bit better for the fly half.
45 points to 9, Ken, and it's looking more and more like a blowout. It's the 62nd minute. South Africa with the catch through Franco Mostert, who immediately sets up with a maul. Arges Neyman in there. Oxenchair in there. Williams is on the park to replace Jaden Hendrickse. The momentum of the steam train is going. They cannot be stopped at this point. Out the back it goes to the Springboks. Now Delende to Jesse Creel, to Libbok inside. He's got some support out wide. Cheslin Colby with his dancing shoes. On his outside is Willemse, brought down about 10 meters shy of the Welsh try line. Good support from Jesse Creel to make sure he closes it up. Ball away now from Franco Mostert. Into contact with Peter Steph. Franco Mostert still in the scrum off position. Finally, Williams catches up. Peter Steph, about 15 meters out from the Welsh try line. Williams, looking for somebody to go to. He goes to Bongia Mbonambi, Springbok captain last weekend. Penalty advantage for the Springboks. Franco Mostert, into contact, 6 phases. Referee not yet holding up his whistle. High hanging kick inside the 22-meter line. Cheslin Colby looking to beat somebody up for it. It bobbles out, and the Welsh have dotted it down inside the in-goal area. Ken, I don't think anybody in a red jersey knew what was going on there.
Wales are certainly looking under. They're looking a bit shell-shocked at the moment, to be honest. And just the Springbok backline really starting to cut them apart now. Beaten it forward, and now the Springbok backs knifing through them as well. It's a case of really holding on for dear life for Wales at the moment, it seems.
It was a valiant tackle on Cheslin Colby there by Jack Morgan. This Welsh captain really doesn't give up. They both went up there in the end, and number 14 for Wales today is right wing, Tom Rogers. Maybe feels like he was mishandled in the air. The referee's just saying, you've got to be careful of those, the assistant referee. It looks like, I'll tell you exactly who it is. It's Chris Busby. Owen Cross being the other assistant for this afternoon. And Oxen Chair looks like he's getting a bit of running repairs. Hopefully nothing amiss there for him. As Costello will kick this out from the 5-meter line of his own half. And that'll go out maybe between halfway and 10 meters inside the Welsh half. Did I miss something? I thought there was a Springbok penalty. The indication maybe wrong direction. Nevertheless, Sam Parry throws that one in, finds his jumper to Morgan. Morgan through to Lydiot. Into contact he goes. Now setting up for the box kick with some support from Teddy Williams on debut. Looks like a little bit of a late tackle there on the scrum half, but nothing amiss there. Great catch by Cheslin Colby. And the referee's given a penalty. Tap and go from the Springboks 11. Beats 1, beats 2. Brought down eventually by Williams. Trying to dig that ball out. Are the Springboks? The play is fair. Morgan hands it off to number 20. And Wales changing direction. Lusri Samet smashed by Jesse Creel. Asking for a knock on is Jesse Creel. Wales inside their own half through the turnover ball. Thomas Williams, ball in hand. Looking for some options. He goes to Henry Thomas. No real forward momentum here for the Welsh. And the referee eventually blows his whistle because Costello was on the ground. He's really not looking too good.
Yeah, fantastic bit of defence there by Johnny Williams. Grant Williams, as it is wanted, he has got extreme to chase him down. But Sam Costello looks Cheslin with that hard ball, which is why originally
the penalty came.
Actually, it was Colby tapped quickly, and the penalty.
Yeah, I think it was this misbehavior there. Ulefir Battaglia. He's saying go Booker. So thank you. Keep those comments coming. We absolutely love having you share your thoughts with us. Just 65 minutes gone in this game. It looks like Costello is making his way off the park. There will be a replacement for Wales. And we're just going to see who has made that replacement. Who is the man to come on? Or perhaps a bit of a shift in personnel, because Lusri Samet, Thomas Williams, Tame Basham, Teddy Williams, everybody's on the park. So I'm not sure who's going to slot into that number 10. Perhaps Reece Samet or Kai Evans will come back onto the park. We're not sure. Some concerns for Wales.
A head impact assessment first, so they will be able to bring one of the starting players back on, I imagine. But Costello went to aggressive ball and head with Marco and started, which is probably not the most recommended thing. You want to avoid concussion.
Grant Williams having a bit of a whisper, not so quiet whisper with the referee Andrew Brace. Let's see how we go here. Scrum feed by Thomas Williams. Huge scrum by the Springboks again. And the referee's whistle broke. I think the ref's whistle broke because the Welsh popped out there. He tried to blow his whistle and then it looked like his whistle fell apart. And the Welsh have possession of the ball. I'm not sure what happened there because he put his whistle in his mouth as if he was going to blow the whistle. And then it looked like something popped out, the P from the whistle, that little ball that's in the whistle. But the referee's saying play on, apparently. Or anyway, box kick just inside the Welsh half on the 10-meter line. Good take there by Canan Moody. Surely he would have a spare one in his pocket. And Chair goes up to the 10-meter line rather than let play continue. But a pile of bodies on the far side there. Busby having to pick things up. High cross kick here for Cheslin Kobe to try and get a hold of. A little bit of a block there by number 14, Tom Rogers, and the referee's blown his whistle. So it does work, Ken, in the end. I was worried about that.
Yeah,
did you also see that? It looked like something dropped. He caught something out of his whistle.
And it definitely seemed that the Springboks deserved a penalty from that scrum. So dominant were they. But they've got another penalty now. Anyway,
scrum, if you're captain, presumably it's Dwayne Vermeulen that's calling the shots in the absence of Siya Kolisi. Another scrum? Well, not
no,
like they're going to do it. But
they're going to kick for touch. Set them all.
Pile on the misery. Yeah, set them all is not actually the worst idea. But Ria Vardaman saying she thinks that Wales is going to need to change their whole team by the looks of it. And, Monday's selection will see some people who are playing today not on that plane to France.
Yeah, it was always a bit of a makeshift Wales team. And then, of course, those three late withdrawals as well, not helping their cause.
On there means that South Africa have a penalty advantage 2 meters out through the line out. Williams to Peter Steff. He wants a second. Can he roll over and get it? Nope. Referee blows his whistle and said, held up and we'll go back for the penalty. It was a knock-on at the line-out time, and the big blonde man gets up and has a huge smile on his face.
So Wales obviously encroaching at the line-out there, leading to the penalty. And no doubt South Africa will set another line-out.
To quote, looks like a tap and go. Mbonambi,
Oh, no.
tap and go.
Tap and go.
Back to his forwards. Williams to the near side. And Chair pushing up. 4 meters out. South Africa set them all through Franco Mostert. Big drive here from the Springboks. Can anybody stop it in a red jumper? Penalty advantage, collapsing them all. Out now to Lubbock. Now we're going to switch direction. Outside there to Damian Phillips. All the space in the world. And he could just slide over there. That is Damian Willems's third try of his career. Oh, somebody gets a yellow card as well.
Well, it's a fantastic pass by Marnie Lubbock to put Williams in the clear there outside the defender who was rushing up. But the pass was just too good, beat the defender. And Damian Williams just sharing his appreciation for Marnie Lubbock, giving him a slap on the chest. He certainly appreciated the magical hands of his fly half there. Great distribution by Lubbock.
Yeah,
and 50
Teddy
is
Williams. 50 up, and Teddy Williams, the debutant replacement, has been sent to the sin bin for collapsing them all. So the last, presumably, 3 seconds of this game? Ken, is there enough time? 40 seconds of the game, because he's got 9:48 and there's about 17. Maybe there's got scrape it. 2 seconds left in the game. He'll just dip his toe back onto the field for the game to go. And I don't think the Welsh would hang on to the ball as Lubbock converts this one. I don't think the Welsh are going to hang on to the ball once the hooter is gone, Ken. I certainly don't imagine that will be the case for them.
No, I think unless they within sight of the Springbok try line, I think they'll definitely be wanting to get off this park as quickly as possible. 52 points to 9 now at the moment. And as this stands, It's South Africa's second biggest win over Wales. More on that later, as there's a good take of the restart by Rio Dyer. Wales in possession now, rumbling forward. Thomas Williams goes blindside, and Rio Dyer breaks free again. A big collision with Damien Willemse. There's been some head contact there. Both players are down on the ground, clutching their heads.
Oh dear. No.
Dyer seemed to duck down, and Willemse ducked down as well.
Watch Andre Pollard warm up here, Ken, because if this is a red for Damien Willemse, this is going to mean that there's a back post poached goal here, to use footballing parlance, because surely he'll be out for 2 games at the minimum, which is.
But I'm not sure Willemse did too much wrong there. We'd have to look at the
head-to-head contact. Ken, they did exactly the same for Peter Steph du Toit. And it wasn't his fault.
You see, Dyer was tackled. Dyer's ducking down. He's tackled by Marco van Staden, which is, and if anything, Dyer then stands up in van Staden's tackle. Willemse's going low, and then Dyer stands up. And so there is head contact. To me, it's just a mistiming of the tackle. And I think a good call at the moment. It's a yellow card for Damien Willemse.
For review as well.
To the bunker as well. To me, there was just timing issues there. I mean, if Owen Farrell's wasn't a red card.
No, but Owen Farrell, different rules for different fools, Ken. Come on, know that.
Of course, yes, sorry. Yeah.
We're not England. Willemse is not England captain. So, Willie Leroux back onto the park whilst both of those gents get a ding-dong test.
And Willemse bleeding as well. Look quite profusely from an eye injury, as Wales will set the line out 5 meters from the Springbok try line on the far side of the field. Just a tiny bit of peeping through on that corner. It takes the line out, but the referee is not happy that it was properly constituted. And so Wales will
go again.
Heading into the 71st minute, Wales go to the front of the line out, and the Springboks get an early shove in on the maul, but the referee's got his hand up for advantage, and here comes the penalty. So referee Brace has deemed that they illegally collapsed the maul, and he's blown his whistle. He's going to have a little word with Bongi Manambi, would appear to be the stand-in captain. I think saying Ergie Snyman made contact too early on the jumper. Wales tap and go, but met by stern Springbok defence. Thomas Williams with a short pop ball, but a great tackle by Dwayne Vermeulen. Wales just centimetres short of the line, though, as they recycle. They go to the blind side, and replacement hooker Sam Parry has dived over the line on the blind side for the first try to Wales in this test match.
Yeah, it was just in that moment of error from Ergie Snyman, the penalty, and only Vincent Koch was aware to bring Thomas Williams down there, and then again Marco van Staden was just too late. He was there, wrapped around the ruck there, and over she goes for Sam Parry. Great bit of magic there for them, and I'd love to just want to know what the result is of that Willemse option. What will be the result? We'll just have to wait and see. Because Ken, even though the referee gave it nothing, then gave it a yellow card, then the bunker overturned it to red, then the Six Nations have said no, all good, and now World Rugby are suggesting that they're going to get involved. As
they have appealed
this one. Yes, yeah. But I think it's next week Tuesday.
And handsome. It's an excellent conversion by Williams. So 52-16. Now the score with coming up to 7 minutes left in this match.
Just the chasm, as large as it is, really a bridge too far, you would think, Ken, by this stage in the game.
And
Nearly 40
Bongi
points.
Manambi still querying referee Andrew Brace with Achias Neumann, who puts an arm around his captain and kind of pulls him away as if to say, look, it's not worth it. So
It's like they've
apparently mitigation
made a
has
decision.
been applied in the Willemse yellow card, probably now for the bunker to decide if that is right. As South Africa kick off and Kane Basham comes roaring up with the ball, cut down just short of the 22 though, as Wales bash it forward, trying to cross their 22-metre line. And Jack Morgan with some fancy footwork and a dummy. He makes a couple of yards. Thomas Williams is digging, and he will now clear. Downfield, taken by Cheslin Colby on his 10-metre line, and he will launch an up and under, which is skewed off the boot and comes down in amongst a group of Wales players on the halfway line, and they knock it on. So a really poor up and under by Cheslin Colby has resulted in a Springbok scrum.
Yeah, I think it was the shin is where it's hit there on Cheslin Colby. So I think that's what is the verdict there. But like you said, an opportunity for Wales to do something. But when you're asking your lock forward to try and be the one to take it in the catch, I'm not sure if you pick him to be the man under the high ball. Nevertheless, there's a bit of a halt in play here as Erges Neyman gets some running repairs, including Jesse Creel. Both sides getting some repairs.
Yeah, no, Sam Costello, the Wales fly half, has not returned to the field. He's sitting in the stands, so he's obviously got himself a bit of concussion. He won't return.
I thought seeing Faf de Klerk.
Caden Mooney.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Has been named man of the match.
Certainly earned 2 tries from him.
Several South African players who could have got that award this evening.
Absolutely. I saw Faf de Klerk for a moment, and I completely forgot that he was actually the water carrier. And I thought, what is he doing on the park? Haven't they replaced him with Grant Williams?
Well, don't feel bad. I thought Eben Etzebeth was on the field in the first half. So
Etzebeth,
seeing him in the number 4 jersey.
Etzebeth, Mapimpi, de Klerk, and Kurtley Arends are not playing this afternoon, and you imagine they'll be donning the green and gold next weekend. 5 minutes to go.
Yeah. So Grant Williams feeds the scrum just inside the Springbok half in the middle of the field, and again a good shove from the Springboks, crabbing to the right though, but referee Brace has ruled that Wales going on the inside there in the scrum, which is why it wheeled so much to the right, and he's awarded this penalty to South Africa. And,
surprisingly, that the Springboks haven't gone with another scrum. The dominance at scrum time.
I suppose you're a long way out. I mean, you're inside your own half, so you'd rather get position, which Libok goes for down the near touchline. It's a super kick again. He's put South Africa probably about 10 metres from the New Zealand try line. Rassie Erasmus, as usual, very vocal on the communications channels.
Billy Leroux off the park once again, which means that Damien Willemse passed his head injury assessment, unlike Costello, like you said. So interesting there.
We just need to know what card Willemse will end up with, as Bongi Manambi will feed the line out 10 metres from the Welsh line. They go to the back, taken by Peter Steph du Toit, and the Springbok pack is on the charge now. A good comeback though by Wales, pushed them back a couple of metres, but Springbok still in possession. Grant Williams gets the ball from the forward, snipes, brought to ground 3 metres from the line, and now Oxen Chair, but he can't make headway. Good defence by the Welsh. Damien Dialendi to Marco van Staden. He's just short of the line. Slow ball back for South Africa. Williams to Vincent Koch. Dives over one tackle. Here comes the ball back. Williams again. To Oxenchair. Or Vincent Koch again, fighting hard there. Oxenchair, rather. As Peter Steph Detroit picks up at the base of a ruck. He's over the line, but he's pushed back by Wales. Stout defence here by the home side in these closing moments. And referee Brace has ruled that there were 2 knock-ons there. Looks like the first one might be by Wales. So it will be a Springbok scrum. Well, I mean a scrum.
Bit of a reach around the abdomen of Peter Steph is what they've gone with for the knock-on. And number 18 for Wales, the replacement in Henry Thomas, just getting some running repairs.
Fantastic defence there by Sam Parry and Max Llewellyn right on the line to stop Peter Steph du Toit from scoring.
Oh, Peter Steph du Toit deserves a hat-trick, doesn't he, Ken? Boy, oh boy, has he been busy today.
Another big game by South Africa's blindside flank.
What's your option here, Ken? Do you kick for touch? Do you tap and go? Do you scrum? Oh, it is a scrum. My apologies.
It is a scrum. Yeah, it's a knock-on.
I thought maybe there was an opportunity to kick for the corner, but this is going to be a huge scrum.
The pack won't mind scrubbing. I'm very sure about that.
No, I don't think they'll be saying, "Oh, coachy, please, no more."
We've had a penalty try already today. I'm sure the pack will want to push over try.
Absolutely. Just 1 minute, 28 seconds left on that yellow card for Dyer. 77:36 on the clock. So really scraping things will young Dyer. South Africa will obviously not have Willemse for the remainder of the game, and that's why we could see some replacements come on briefly. So here we go. Big scrum. Wales feed, though.
Yeah. And they are on their 5-meter line. They're about 20 meters in from touch. So under pressure, and the scrum goes down straight away before it's even set. So it will have to reset.
I think Franco Mostert.
Clock here.
Yeah, I think Franco Mostert was the one who went down there. I think that's what I picked up. But now some blonde South African fan having a go at some Welsh locals. Not really a good look. Right, let's reset.
This seems a better, more stable set. Thomas Williams now, Springboks clearly early on the shove there, and it's a free kick to Wales. So they will be able to relieve some pressure here. Kai Evans, the debutant at fullback, has kicked it straight down the field, really. And Cheslin Colby runs across to gather the kick. He's over the halfway line now, probing for a gap. Gets to a half gap. Williams and Achie Slabon in the back line. Nice hands for Marco van Staden, fighting his way forward. Williams to Vincent Koch, who is well defended by the Welsh. Williams probes the blind side, and now South Africa go open side. Damien Dialendi looking for a gap. Can't find it. And Marnie Libbok, rather, with a little chip kick over the top of the defensive line. It was a real Hail Mary of a kick, but he was playing under advantage. And South Africa will have a penalty back on the left-hand side of the field, 15 meters in from touch, probably 14, 15 meters inside the Wales half. And,
the imminent.
I think he might be shaping to have a go for poles here, given that the full-time Hoot is about to go.
Last play, and certainly the right option, Ken, in terms of his confidence. He's kicked a few more through the poles, and why not? The Springboks are well ahead. Even if he misses it, no problem.
Yeah,
Not no problem, but you understand in the context of the game, I'm sure.
No, for sure. There's not much to be gained with the Hooter having gone and a convincing win already secured. A bit of a testing kick this for Libbok, 15 meters in from touch.
It's time running out of time. 5 seconds.
45 meters out from the poles. Here's Libbok, and he's hooked it. So that will be the last act of the game, unless Wales decide to run it back, and they look like they are, as Rhys Zammit is tackled just over his 5 meter line. Wales go wide. Shaq Morgan to Kay Evans, back on the inside to Thomas Williams, and the move breaks down, the ball goes loose, and the Springboks hack it into touch. And that is that then. South Africa with a convincing victory here at the Millennium Stadium, 52-16, which is their second biggest victory over Wales in terms of points difference. Of course, the famous 96-13 win in Loftus-Versfeld in 1998 will quite possibly never be beaten. But apart from that, the other big victory margin for South Africa, also in Pretoria in 2004, 53-18 over Wales. So 52-16 today to the Springboks, and David Minchley, both the team and their fans can be pretty pleased.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. It's been certainly a performance of defending champions. I don't want to kind of, put a medal on the team before they've even played their first game, but certainly if they play like this against some of their opposition at Rugby World Cup, they will retain the trophy. But I think today, Ken, there was a lot of positives for the Springboks. Some concerns, I think, in terms of errors early on in the game, because we saw against New Zealand and our opposition for next weekend how well they did in that first 20 minutes against South Africa to really put us under pressure on the back foot. And we never really recovered in that game. And I just want South Africa to be a little bit more, even if a little bit more solid. I think even if we're not dominating in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, you've just got to be focused. And I know it takes time to settle in at Test rugby level, but I just want South Africa to have fewer errors early on, because not every team is going to give you the opportunities like Wales has done.
Yeah, I think we do need to temper our enthusiasm a bit over the Springboks, just by noting that this was a very weakened Wales team, certainly nothing like the first choice team they will play in the World Cup, and also further weakened by late injury withdrawals. But 52-16 then, South Africa win. Tries for Malcolm Marx, Kane Moody got a couple, Jesse Creel got a couple, Peter Steph du Toit also getting on the chart on the list, and Damien as well. We still don't know the outcome of Damien Willems's yellow card, which might have been upgraded to red, not too sure yet, but no doubt a convincing and pleasing performance by the Springboks. Any last words, David?
No, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ken, for your assistance this afternoon. Absolutely appreciated as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook as well, 1WSR on Twitter via @OneWorldSR. Ken Borland can be found under his own name and not a pseudonym, as I am Coach Dave. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you this game. Next weekend, the Springboks taking on the All Blacks live from Twickenham. Please, if you would like to become a commentator, admin at 1WSR.com. If you would like to contribute, patreon.com/OneWorldSR. But please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want you to be a part of our family. Thank you so much from your side, Ken, and from all of us here at One World Sports Radio. A good night.
Good night. Thank you.